Let's now look into the development of a useful synergy between CDA, critical discourse analysis, and corpus analysis or corpus storehouses. It was only in 1990s when we heard first voices to use corpus studies for the purpose of critical discourse analysis also. For example, there were certain studies which involved critical analysis or critical discourse analysis and were based on some kind of corpus storages. For example, we see Caldus Cothard in 1993 and 95 examined the representativeness of male and female terms and men or terms related to men and women in a news based narrative, and he found that the terms used for men are used more frequently as compared to the terms used for women. So based on this frequency analysis, Cothard finally concluded that in a general narrative of news, the male related terms are used more frequently as compared to female related. Analysis of frequencies and collocations or collocates and concordances grew in popularity during the late 90s and the early part of this century, and where it was used to identify various discourses or representations of various identity groups in a certain discourse. For example, a work by Krishnamurti includes the context of identity in the words like tribal, ethnic, and racial. And based on these words and their occurrence in certain discourses, Krishnamurti concluded certain things. Another technique used by corpus analysts of discourse is elicitation of keywords, a concept which has gradually changed over time. So finding keywords which represent a certain source or a certain thought, which represent a certain maybe identity group, maybe social, political ideology. Finding such keywords may be very useful. For example, I just give you a quick example. The word sacrifice in Pakistani political discourse is largely attributed to a popular political party. So the use of such words is more common in their discourses. In Urdu, we call it Qurbani. So finding such keywords in various kinds of discourses, especially in political discourses, can be other possible way where corpus-based data can be used for critical discourse analysis purposes. And then there can be another example. Stubbs followed Williams in viewing keyword as a word that has significance in a particular discourse and therefore tell us about the values of a society, such as family, employment, and then the notions of honor, social pride, social esteem. They all can be investigated by working on some keywords in a discourse. Keywords have been used as a springboard for related forms of analysis, including concordances, and there have been various studies based on allocation or elicitation of such keywords in particular context. Corpus as a way in this situation, corpus can be considered as a way of focusing on the immediate local or lexical context around a word of interest. Where a word falls and what comes before and after that is its lexical context, and therefore corpus may be a collection of these lexical contexts of a word, especially of a keyword, and this keyword is elicited or explained by its emergence or relation to its neighboring words. Baker also described how annotated corpora can be used to find key semantic, grammatical categories, groups of words, and which are common in certain kind of discourses, and when found together, they make or develop certain special meanings related to an ideology or an identity. In the 20s, in the early part of this century, a group led by Alan Partington actually conceptualized corpus-assisted discourse analysis. We call it CADS, which built and analyzed corpora to analyze how discourse participants achieve usually political goals via language, and how participants differ in the use of their language. The aim of corpus-assisted discourse analysis is to find non-obvious, hidden meanings and identify questions about various ideologies, identities, power relations, social relations, cultural depth, sociological patterns, linguistic variations. Again, about all concerns which are related to critical discourse analysis in a way which is different from other streams of critical discourse analysis on one side, and on the other side it aims to find all these non-obvious meanings, hidden meanings, in order to see that they might be considered if not found in this way. In simple words, we can say it looks into non-obvious meanings which are afraid to be ignored in other ways of critical analysis.